do the Pledge of Allegiance here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. There. Okay. Welcome to February 27th, 2023, Jefferson County Board of Tourism. Before we start on the treasurer's report, I'd like to do approval of minutes.
I'll move that we approve as written, both of them. December and January's meeting.
That's second one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. David, treasurer's update, please, sir.
All right, so for January, the in-feature tax collection was $41,641.73. In the convention and tourism fund with the county, we have a total of $922,893.45. Now, none of the claims that we have today have been taken away from them, so that is the balance. We have three claims. One is for the marketing expenses for several, that was for $1,802.99, and then we got another one today that was for a couple there, but $8,225. So those were two that were for marketing. And then the last one is the first installment of 3 months of VMI operations, which is $81,250. And we can motion to approve those.
I'll move that we approve those as stated.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dave, do we need to approve the treasurer's report as well separately, or is that kind of all inclusive?
Sure. If you want to.
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the treasurer's report as given.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report. Partnerships and projects. I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to separate out the motions on partners and projects. I'd like to make a motion to approve VMI Motor Trail in the amount of $29,000. Contingent on each quarter, they come and report back what they did with that money and how it's progressing.
Second.
Any discussion?
So you're wanting to do each of these separate,
Instead of one umbrella, so it'd be long-winded.
do we know what the amount you want to do for each one is gonna be? It's 29,000.
I wanted to take the partnerships and projects, break them out individually, have the total we agreed on, and then in number 4, do the budget discussion. Of where we approve the budget minus what we've spent, what we have, what we'll then approve, and what we need to approve for August. Total on that. With plus what you and I were talking about.
Yeah, haven't seen the full amount that we were wanting to do, so I'm just wanting to, are we wanting to do the full amount on all of them? Is that what the plan is
Yes, minus marketing.
from each one of them? Who's doing the marketing portion of that.
They would have a 30-day period to go and discuss it with Andrew and Sarah Purcell.
Gotcha.
That allotment of money would be there to discuss how they can best utilize all that capital to improve. To maximize that $36,200.
That was the marketing number?
Well, that's for 3 of them.
Are they aware of that? Of those organizations?
They will be.
I know if we've had just our discussion.
I had discussion with Andrew on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So VMI is aware of that it's
Mhm.
trying to. Shut up.
Any more discussion on the motor trail?
I mean, should we have them talk with, I mean, they're going to some other places at least, isn't it worth a discussion to see, hey, Belterra, you interested in getting some name recognition on this trail for those that go by there, or Rising Star, I guess is the other one, where it used to be, you know?
Or does the campaign stop when we give them the full amount? I guess is the way I'm looking, it's kind of piggybacking off of that. So if we give them the full amount, do they stop pursuing other opportunities for revenue?
No, we're gonna kind of,
So what would the additional be used for then?
at that point, it'd be expanding further opportunities with the trail. Maybe it's T-shirts that we'd be able to buy the people that then are getting as they check in on spots on the trail, or maybe it's another partnership with another local business or Arts Alliance or something like that. So, yeah, I'd have to think through that, but we certainly wouldn't try to just say, well, that's it, we're good, because I want to try and maximize revenue coming in off of this, because I think it can be going forward, self-sustaining. I think there's an opportunity.
And there is an opportunity, David, for regional tourism opportunity to partner. I mean, Andrew, I'm sorry to speak for you, but
Yeah.
we already had a meeting with Switzerland County this past week.
They've got some interest. Switzerland County's already thinking about something like this, and we said, well, why don't you partner with us?
Hotel has 3 car clubs coming this summer.
Hmm.
We're just getting started.
Perfect.
That's not a secret, is it, Victor?
No, not now.
Right. What?
It's out of double, yeah.
So you've talked with Switzerland County, but the casinos are,
Yeah, and when I talked to Switzerland County, they said they'd be happy to set up, because they have really good relationships with Belterra. So they said they'd be happy to help us have that conversation and get that foot in the door. So that's just one example of one of the counties. I think there's opportunities throughout these motor trail routes, extending to probably 5 to 7 different counties, with local businesses, with their tourism organizations. So I think there's a lot of potential there to route some people in. And it also, some of that funding can go toward additional marketing for the trail.
I think a lot of it is approving that 29 on this one is also for them to be able to come back quarterly and kind of report what they did with that money. It's not just write them a check and then good luck, go forth and do good. And I'm super interested in what Ron created and Hanover College partnership with them, and BMI's tackling it. And I think there's a lot of synergy and cohesiveness with those groups. And I think Kurt Jacobs and Ron Bateman have put in a lot of time to get here. Any more discussion? Do you have any more questions, Curtis?
No.
Dave, do you?
so are we, so I guess if we're gonna do this, so next year, what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna automatically give it again, or are we gonna, what measures? I think we need, you coming back and telling us what you're gonna do, but we need to think about what are the things that we're gonna measure it by? Rather than just, oh, that sounds nice, and then, yeah, next year we'll fund it the same. So I'm not against it, but my fear is that we give money and then we really have no measure, yeah, it was successful, oh. I mean, we don't. So,
I don't see this as a reoccurring thing. I mean, this would be something they'd have to apply for next year. I mean, we have parameters set out in the application that we asked them to follow. So I mean, if we could fund it again next year, but I think they'd have to go through this process. At least that's how I understood it. And I
well,
think,
yeah, I'm not saying they wouldn't have to, but I'm just wondering, what are we gonna use to say, yes, it was successful, or no, it wasn't? Or we say, okay, they come to us each quarter and tell us, is that sufficient?
I think what we talked about the last meeting was Sarah had the
Placer.
the placer and
Yeah,
the
economic impact,
EIC, the 8 or 9 questions, whatever that you send to people. Now, this to me is gonna be hard to measure. Correct?
Well, Andrew sent out
That-
an email today or yesterday or whatever it was,
Yeah.
talking
yeah,
about placer data
I
and.
said
and-
placer and
and
EIC.
EIC.
Now, again, that would be very difficult to measure in motor trail.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to work with Board of Tourism on what are some metrics. So I think Commissioner Bramer has some really good thoughts on this, that, yeah, you don't want to just say, hey, this sounds like a good idea. You want to see the results. And it makes it an awkward situation because we're potentially receiving funding for me to say, hey, I'll tell you how you. measure it. But so I'm trying to walk that weird line, but.
No, but I mean, maybe next year it's worth $58,000. I don't know. I mean, because you've shown, hey, these
Yeah.
things happen. And that's it. That's the other side of that coin. So I'm not saying
Yeah.
nothing, but let's.
No, I think
This is a product development that, that's new to this county and this area and for us, and I think that.
So, and
As you
so
guys
maybe
know,
for the next 6 months, we're really working on, okay, how can we measure this, We've got some tools, let's
Yeah,
see how they.
That makes.
Well,
complete
one
sense.
tool that
Yeah.
Ron just said, and he's got free
Mhm.
Victoria knows, right, Victoria?
Well, and I was looking in there when it talks about how they intend to measure the success, and it says clicks to lodging opportunities from the website. I do track that from your website. I can see how many bookings I've gotten. I don't know if the other hotels, they would have the ability to do that. I don't know if they look at that, but I mean, I would say working with the various hotels would be one way to
Yeah.
get some of that data.
My attitude is this is seed money to develop a new product. And the first season, the test really is, what did you put in front of us? You got a website, you got brochures, what do your graphics look like? Do we believe that this is gonna be effective? And it may not be entirely reasonable to expect huge result the first year. We're trying to start something. That's my opinion.
But at the same time, information like you're sharing, well, the two of you have shared, we've got these motor clubs coming in. We've got these motor clubs came in and there were, 250 participants. And for that matter, if they're going to VMI for maps and for information on the trails, there should be a way to get at least an estimate of the number of folks that have picked up the maps and the trails. If it's a registration process or if it's, or if it's clicks on the website. But there should be a way to get some numbers there as well.
Right, I assume that VMI is the gatekeeper for this.
I reached out to Roadrunner, who is a huge partner in the Windy Nine. And they're the people too that work with developing these things in other cities. And so it's people like that we would connect with and continue to work with and say, we've reached out to Windy Nine in Athens, Ohio, I don't know how many times, and I know that you guys had this issue, or Kurt Jacobs had that issue in getting them to respond, but it might be just a kind of friendly, competitive kind of thing, but you know, that's part of this whole process is to ask and to seek information and to say, what are all the different things that you guys are doing to measure? I mean, absolutely, everything that we do is data driven, and we do, you know, I mean, obviously, it's like a billboard, you can't really measure that, but that's going into this, that's what this is like, is we're trying to develop what that is. Okay, this is something that is really great to measure by, and this doesn't mean anything to us, so, I mean, we're absolutely gonna give you data, whatever we can get you, you know?
And I think we want to help figure out what those
Sure.
metrics are, those questions that apply not only to Visit Madison, but to all the other organizations that you decide to support, whether in this grant cycle or another one. Are you measuring heads and beds? Are you measuring, total visitor spending? Are you measuring amount of days that a property, a historic property is able to be open? Those are the things that I'm happy to sit down and talk with you all about, because it might look different for the motor trail versus
Sure.
one of the other organizations, but you're absolutely right. We need to have those metrics so that you don't just get somebody coming in every year that says, well, this is a great project, but you go, well, what are we getting out of it? And you need to have that. And
Well, I just think we ought to think about developing it. That was
In
my
the first
point.
year, it's gonna be hard.
Sure, oh, I understand, but I mean, some of your conversations with others, I mean, I don't know if there is an official group over the Dragon, the one in Tennessee and North Carolina or whatever, if they have something like that, but you see a guy at work, I mean, he's got the poster, he's got he's got all that stuff, and so it's fairly widely known, but do they have anything? I mean,
We're working on a tattoo.
I got a belt sander, I can let you know, so if you decide on the tattoo, I've got the belt sander.
So part of the request was for photography and videography.
Mhm.
Can CrowdRiff not cover that we already subscribed to, or what's
So-
the additional $6,000 for?
Okay, I mean, I don't want, no.
Yeah, I mean, CrowdRiff, we can get some information from, some photographs, video from CrowdRiff, it's existing, but some of this is high quality video of, you wanna show people what these trails look like, the routes. You want somebody out there with a high quality camera showing a motorcycle actually on the trail, or showing a Corvette actually driving up and down these hills. And some of that, nobody's posted yet.
Yeah, I have pictures of motorcycles in Madison on the riverfront or on a bike or going up, hanging rocks, so but there's not that much, so. It's definitely a necessity to give a visual to that and.
And the next part is, so how do you take on a $29,000 project without any additional labor allocated to it
For
this motor trail?
with Motor Trail for our staff, well, we asked for some additional funding from JCBT this year to hire another person, and we put that into our budget. So we're going through that process to be able to hire somebody to help support this. And what has helped is having Hanover College right now putting together the bones of it to be able to hand over to us. So then we need to monitor it, oversee it with that new person, but we didn't necessarily have to hire somebody that was just going to do Motor Trail starting February 1st, because Hanover's in the middle of working on it, so.
But wouldn't it make sense to budget some time and money to that?
You mean like ask for $50,000 rather than 30, so then. I think we probably could, but I think we're trying to be very, very cognizant of your funding too, because you're funding us to do some of this on a 365-day-year basis, and so we want to try and fit that into what we're already.
And that's what I'm asking. If what you've presented to us in a budget and what you're doing is 365, how do you pick up additional work with no extra requests for labor or time? Your contract didn't have anything to do with this additional project.
Our contract that we just signed,
Yeah.
I anticipated, I knew it was coming, so that's why I built in money for an additional person and a half that we could get to take on this too.
So there is money in there.
That
budget.
expense is in our operations So we don't need to ask for more money because
But what I'm asking though is if you already have that in your operations to do Madison 365 and you pick up additional work, there's additional cost there.
and we accounted for that. We were going to do the motor trail. For 20.
So regardless if we didn't support it, you guys were gonna do it?
We'd find a way.
I think we'd find a
It'd be a
way.
little hard to do without the items that you see in front of you for your budget.
I mean, we could have a person that would be working on it, but yeah, we asked for some materials, some print materials, we asked for photography, videography, and that would have meant our time to go out and raise those sponsors or ask businesses for money to say, okay, well, we're gonna need you guys to step up to do this. So now we've got more time invested in what we're doing, because we gotta go out and raise the $29,000, rather than having the support from JCBT.
Any more discussion on the motor trail?
One thing I wanna say is I don't want this to be amateur hour. Don't send a boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It needs to look good. You're gonna sell this through the internet and through magazine articles, and it needs to be as good as you can afford to make it.
That's right.
We need to up the game and knock it out of the park.
That's
And
what
not
we-
just
that's
on
what
this
we-
project, but every project we fund.
Yeah. I think you're right. Well, that's part of the photography, videography. I could go buy a GoPro, for $150 and strap it on the hood of my car and take video of somebody on a motorcycle going up and down,
Yeah.
but that's not the quality that we wanna portray.
There's a motion on the floor. Any more? The motion is to approve VMI. It's $29,000 for the motor trail.
And that's minus the marketing.
Nope, nope, that's straight up, straight down.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
whole.
Yep, $29,000
Okay.
was their request. My motion is that's what we pay them for the motor trail. David, do you want to add
No, I mean, I don't need to add that. I mean, he
Okay.
said he's gonna do it. I know where he lives. No. I don't actually don't. I think that's true either, but I'll come visit. I'll work with him. We'll.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second one, HMI, I'd like to make a motion to approve $10,000, which was presented by HMI for their grant request.
Second.
Any discussion? No more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Jefferson County Historic Society, I'd like to make a motion to approve $31,000 of their $35,200 request. And they would have 30 days to go discuss with Sarah Purcell and Andrew Forrester how they can best utilize that extra $4,200 in conjunction with other presenters.
What was the base amount again?
31,000. And they'll have 30 days to come back to have VMI and Jefferson County Historic Society to discuss how JCTA can pool their marketing resources together to best maximize marketing and sing the same song.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to M3. M3 presented a total grant request of $70,500. I'd like to make a motion to approve $44,500. And in order to use the $26,000 in marketing, they have 30 days to go discuss with Sarah Purcell and Andrew Forrester how they can utilize those funds in conjunction with other JCTA entities to best maximize the marketing dollars there. Have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to make a motion for MAAA. Their grant request was $56,650. I'd like to approve $50,650 tonight with the contingency that they will sit down with Andrew Forrester and Sarah Purcell at BMI over the next 30 days to discuss how they can use the $6,000 in marketing to best maximize in conjunction with other entities regarding marketing. Do I have a second? Any discussion?
I mean, we've got people listed here, we're gonna share people, I wanna know how, I'd like to know a little more detail on how Madison Music Movement and MAAA are gonna share people. So.
Regarding the 22,000 that M3 asked for?
Sure, they say promote brand full-time, but split with MAAA. So, but then in MAA, there's 42,000 for people. So is that in? Just would like to know how that's gonna be split out. What's the?
I'm happy to.
Kim, would you like to answer that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
I'm happy to answer that question. So I will speak for M3 since Charlie and Todd are not here. I know Todd's out of town. M3 has hired a part-time person that works 1 day a week to handle their operations at this point. In addition to, I do give time to M3. I help them with understanding the directives that they give this part-time person. Lindsay Holly is 1 day a week. Also, we are partnering on the Madison or the Americana Music Triangle project. There's quite a bit of work that's going to be incurred on that. That's where I think the shared piece will be. It's going to be all of us pulling together to get that stuff done. And I think that was a little unclear in their request. However, I can speak fully for Madison Area Arts Alliance. We are a part-time program operating with a single part-time employee for the last 8 years at 21 hours a week. The workload is more like 50 hours a week. And so our board realized that this opportunity was something that we could not pass up. It is imperative with the public arts programs that we have going on in our community and what has been promoted so well by BMI. It is time to get serious about this since we are one of 12 cultural districts in the entire state. And we are operating at a very, very low capacity. So our board of directors realized that we needed to lift our game. Our website was created 7 years ago. I can get in the back door and do it. You don't need me doing that. We need to hire someone to help our organization. Our doors are not open every day of the week. I'm not saying they're going to be, but we need to open more frequently rather than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what we do. So That's our request. It's on that, as far as the other position that we want, and these are all part-time, it would elevate to full-time our executive director. It would give us 2 days a week for, help, administrative pieces. In addition, we are looking at, hiring someone part-time 2 days a week to help with the granting processes. We operate on grant applications and grant reviews. We do all that in-house with one person right now. It is not, it's just kind of to the point of growing up, being the strong organization. So that's the answer of that. I hope that you will, know that M3, I'm not speaking for them, but we will work, well together. We already work with Visit Madison. We have 2 projects right now. And so that 6,000 that you said for us, that's a no-brainer. We already got that figured out.
Sure.
I'm not worried about that.
What, David, I
I
think
hope I answered your question.
what you're asking is, have you guys made a deal on how many dollars you get and how many dollars
I
M3
just
gets?
wonder how we're gonna split it up. I mean,
Well, I think they had both
Our
had it
request is
down.
our
Mhm.
request.
Yeah,
I'm
your
not
request is yours. and-
familiar with what M3, we didn't go in together to do an application.
Okay,
I'm speaking to what we asked for.
okay.
I think to put the question a little bit differently. Have you all had a discussion and come to an agreement of how you're going to share this person's time?
Absolutely not. I know that, M3 has Lindsay Holly 1 day a week. We perhaps could have 2 days a week at some point. I'm not sure at this point. We have not pointed to who and what. All I can say is the Arts Alliance is ready with job descriptions. We know what we need.
Mhm.
M3 will have to find out what they're gonna do. I can't speak for what they've asked. I hope that answers your question.
I think Dave, and I understand what he's saying, doesn't just want to throw money, willy-nilly, more specific in nature. And what I hear you saying, Kim, and what we've heard the whole time is this is a really big opportunity for us. And you guys have been working so hard to get it to this point, and you need us to get you over the hump. In this time factor, here. So was your question answered at all?
but I guess what I wanna spur people and just think about it and so if you're gonna come back in a month, how are you gonna work this out? I understand, you don't know if it's gonna happen, you put in this, okay, but let's put some thought to it. Same thing with everyone that we've given, like we said with the first one. All right, how are we gonna measure success here?
Another question is, are we gonna give money to organizations that don't show up? Where's M3 tonight?
You already voted for it.
I did
Yeah.
vote for it, but.
I know, a lot of this
Just
sounds like M3 discussion that we're having on over the mall application here.
Yeah,
Can I make, since it's our application, can I make another suggestion? As far as our organization, we have the 3, we really did some analysis to find out what our needs were. What we asked was our ask. We know exactly what we need. We don't need a bunch of people working for us. We need a full-time person, director. We need 2-day part-time and a 2-day part-time, doing very specific tasks. We've already identified where those tasks are. That's not an issue. I am happy to, at your next meeting, bring the plan. You can have what we're planning. That we know very much what we need. As far as the M3 situation, I know we've had general conversations, but nothing in stone. I don't know what their work plan is this year. And I think that would be the question I would ask their president, that what is your work plan? What is your plan for that? Because they did put it in the application. I know from our discussion last time. But I can speak very clearly about what we need. and show you immediately what our needs are as an organization to do a job better than we're doing.
So, and I just, like we asked Andrew, just how are we gonna measure success? You know, so we got some time, let's put some thought to it, let's see, I mean, give me, you know, I think even those organizations, because they know them far better than we do, what's gonna be, yeah, this was successful, or, well, we gotta take a step back and reevaluate how we're approaching this, maybe it didn't work out as well as we thought. You know, I'm open to that, but let's have those discussions, those thought processes, so we're doing the right things with the funds that we have. I'm not saying we're gonna cut on them, but it may be, okay, let's focus in a different direction on some of these and, you know, again, just
So I made a motion for MAAA. And then, are you wanting to change that motion? Or
no,
you
I
wanting to
mean,
change
second,
that?
I just want that, once again, I just want people, who just that thought when you come back, okay, yeah, it's going great, okay, that really is not what we're.
Dave, I personally agree with you 100%.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do
I
too.
think what we need to do is send out a letter to these organizations and maybe a month before our next quarterly, a month before, is have them report. You know, that gives us a clear vision on, okay, now we have another set coming up. How do those reports look? What do we need to do differently or, oh, they came up with some great
Sure, I mean, you know,
analysis, so.
we're thinking about August being the next one, so in June,
In
okay.
June, we should have
All
another
right, give
presentation.
us some ideas.
It's a
Once
just a
again,
report or something, you know, where they just say, hey, this is what we've done, this is what we're planning to do. You know, they're halfway through that money, so.
Let me ask you this, with that in mind, do we assume that these applications are for a 6-month period or just a 1-year project?
This is an annual.
David.
Mhm.
10, okay.
Is that what's in the application,
Mhm.
or can they apply again for the next quarter,
Well, they can apply
or the
again.
next cycle?
Frankly, I don't think they specified.
No, it does not. I mean, it says 2023, but
Mhm.
I mean, they can, I suppose they could apply and that would be up to our discretion
Sure.
if we
Yeah,
want to
Yeah.
approve or not.
But
Yeah,
that's
something
gonna
great
be,
comes along.
yeah, but that's gonna be a question of, okay, up to this point, what kind of results have we gotten with the money up to this point? If it's well-spent money that's giving us great results and just needs a little bit more, then great. If it's not such great spent money, then let's come up with a different plan the next time around.
I mean, if the motor trail for some reason gets picked up by
Oh, she's
Yeah,
saying
that
picked
might
up
be
and you're saying cut, wait a minute.
I mean, if
by
it-
ABC News or somebody, you know,
Yeah.
big, then, you know. they
Why
come
Florida
up and go,
Sports
"Oh,
comes back
we
with,
need to do that."
with the.
Okay, great.
Yes, they do.
Someone's flying off the side of the road,
So
flying down the street.
Trevor, at this point, do we have a second on the Madison Arts?
Yeah,
Wait a second, yeah.
Okay.
Wendy or Ron, one of them.
Okay.
Um,
I did, I said. yeah.
She did. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Can I ask, it's 6 months, I mean, is that like in June? If you guys came back and just said, here's what we're doing, and I'm sure all the money's not gonna, yeah.
I don't even know if results are, I mean, it would be nice to have some results, but I just want, how we measuring success?
Mhm.
You
Well,
know.
if you look at our application, they're measurables. We asked very specifically, we're project driven, so they're measurables. It's not going to, I think in the first part of this, XYZ will get done. And I think that's easy. I think what's gonna be hard to measure is the long-term effect. Anytime you're putting any kind of KPI on or any kind of measurement on a creative piece, whether it's music or arts or culture, you don't know the impact of that. There's no way to measure that. I mean, you can measure how many people went somewhere or how many people attended something, but what pays off from us being an arts and culture driven community is far outreaching than what you could track in a KPI or any kind of a thing. So I'm used to writing stuff about Madison and answering to the Indian Arts Commission and other people. Answering to y'all will be easy. We're all family here, so we'll be able to bring back our things pretty quickly in a good response.
Okay.
Okay.
And while we were talking about a June, July reporting period, that doesn't mean that you don't come in before that when you've got something to report that you think we need to hear. More is better.
We went back 3 times.
I think, David, your emphasis is right.
I just wonder what the-
As a board, kind of sit down and think about, okay, what do we want to see? And maybe outline some expectations. So it's not just a shot in the dark for
Sure.
them coming
Oh, I
back.
understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Might help
But I
them.
don't know that, for each of the different organizations, that one thing is gonna.
No,
you know,
maybe not. I
so-
mean, no,
so-
probably not.
So,
Yeah.
We have to be a little
Yeah.
fluid, but
Absolutely.
it's
Um,
learning curve.
so this is a question to the board before we continue on. So there's $36,200 of money that was requested that we did not approve tonight, all of which I stated when we agreed on that those entities would speak to VMI. Do we need to make a motion on anything pertaining to that? Or just carry on to the next?
I would think we need to wait, cause I mean, what if they say they can't handle the capacity?
Right,
So then we have to go elsewhere to get the marketing done.
right.
And that
I don't-
group
I
may
don't-
need the funds to go elsewhere, so
Yeah,
I think you wanna wait until that
well, the
meeting
idea,
takes place.
no, I agree 100%.
What if I,
For clarity, could you, repeat the language and what you used and, how we approach and work with, because you said other entities.
Yeah, so here,
Not just HMR, I mean, yeah.
no, so when you look at the three that put it out there today, it was MAAA, M3, and it was JCHS. And they have line items for marketing. But one of the things that we created months ago, we funneled as much marketing as we possibly can to VMI. They want to be the marketing hub. We created JCTA so there'd be constant communication and how can we utilize resources, pool them together. So before we just say, hey, Kim, here's $6,000, for example,
Right.
and Kim does a great job with all of this stuff. This is an example. And she's not an SEO, marketing, social media guru, right? How can we utilize our gurus with that $6,000 and maybe they can double her output and input opposed to what she could do if we just gave her a $6,000 check, right?
Sure, okay, I kind of.
Yeah, so it's so over the.
All of that marketing solely on her, it's collaborating with her.
But I want to see what they say.
Well, it could be one of these things where part of your marketing request is hard materials that they can't, I mean, they're not gonna print them, you're gonna have to
Sure, yeah.
contract that, it's
this
the.
is kind of an interesting conversation because we farm out a lot of our print material. And they love it. They love our stuff. But we were just actually in the office yesterday working on the campaign for flights. I mean, we coordinate and we work really well together all the time. I could see us going to VMI, sitting down and saying, this is what we need. We need 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we already have our contacts. We just push the button and order more. And so it would be up to us to come back to y'all and say, we've got that handled, we've coordinated it, we're good.
Yeah.
That's all you need, right?
But if we've got $36,200 sitting here that we hadn't approved tonight, right? In marketing, 26, 6 and 4,200. And you all come back in conjunction with VMI and say, hey, listen, for 36.2, we can actually do this, this, and this for the three entities and other JCTA people. I think, we gotta have a pretty solid discussion at that point.
Okay, yeah.
I think it just maximizes the capital that's there instead of just giving it to each entity, which kind of defeats being JCTA to an extent,
My comment was that I didn't want to overburden by throwing all of our, just setting, or her setting in the seat and being responsible for all of it without, some collaboration.
Because we need to, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn.
No.
But, I don't know what the scope of work is on all the marketing that was requested. Is it just hard cost to print something? Or is it that they need to hire somebody to do?
So
I think that's what that 30-day conversation
Yeah,
is,
that's what
I
the
think it's a chance
conversations
to
with
figure
you
out
should-
what the
should
needs
try
are.
to
Yeah.
Okay.
decide.
Well, I haven't seen
Well, yeah.
the grant applications to know. Okay, perfect. Got it.
I mean, it was just listed as
Sorry.
marketing.
Some of it was marketing and printing
Right.
postcards, some of it was
We
certain
articulated
SEO, some of it
Branding,
was updating a
promotion.
website, I mean.
I think that'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, my comment would be, don't be shy about going out to find the best graphic artists that ever lived and put them on your team. Because you can't do it all, you know?
I think that's why I'm looking forward to this conversation over the next 30 days to say what.
What do you
because
need
we-
to hire?
We
Yeah.
know we're at capacity. Sarah does an amazing job. We talked about some of the
True.
success of this organization, of this board team, because of Sarah, but what do we need to get to that next level?
When do they start hiring?
So have they already done it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was what was brought up.
Okay, well, that clarified that language for me and what the intent was on that. I mean, that was my question.
Sure.
We appreciate that. Very much.
Curtis, do you want to make a motion?
You already have one in a second, that's why we had discussion. For mom,
Oh, we already approved.
Yeah,
We already-
That's already
that's
approved.
already done.
so which one are we on now?
You want to do,
All of them, the
you wanna
36.
talk about the three?
Oh, did we vote on that one already?
No,
No, we haven't, there's
we were,
nothing.
we were going to,
We talking about MAA?
no,
No,
the
we're done.
36.
Yeah, I asked the 36 too.
Yeah, that we were just
And then we
gonna
just,
let them talk to VMI and.
So all the grants that were applied for, we've done
Yes.
all the
Yes, we've
approvals.
already
Okay.
done it, yeah.
I didn't really think we had voted on the last one, so.
Curtis had a pretty good idea.
I just know that we've had, over the last several years, probably even longer than the last several years, Regatta, Riverfest, Chautauqua seem to be the three staples of our festivals in the community. And they come back, we solicit them, asking them, you know, hey, what can we help with? I would like to see us do something where we make a commitment for the next 10 years to those three festivals. And put it in a budget that every year we're gonna give $25,000 to each of those three festivals. So $750,000 we're investing into our three biggest festivals over the next 10 years. To use for, I spoke to Regatta, I asked Aaron about Riverfest, but I didn't get a response back. I haven't heard anything from Chautauqua because I didn't have her contact information. But Regatta would love to be able to hire somebody. I mean, we all know that the turnover, they have a board that reelects every year. The offices are for 2 years and then it turns over and it turns over and they don't have anybody that really works Regatta full time. So I know one of their possible uses for the money was to hire someone to kind of be a event manager, coordinator, whatever that the board would hire and oversee. So I would like to see us, I think $25,000 each of those three festivals over the next 10 years. To use, we can make them come in and tell us what they used it for. We can, again, measure it with the economic impact calculator. I think all the things are there. I just think it gives them, going into the next festival year, they know they have some, whether it's seed money or guaranteed money that is there for them to do what they need to do.
We have a motion. Do we have a
Uh,
second?
I don't think I can vote on this because
Yeah.
of my connection with Riverfest, but I absolutely agree with the motion. 25,000 covers a huge chunk of marketing for Riverfest as an example. And really gets it off to a good first step there.
So Jim's gonna recuse himself
Yeah,
because of his affiliation with Riverfest
Can I please say something?
in discussion.
Okay.
Do we have a second? We don't have a second.
It's dead.
I love the idea. I'll make the second. Do we have any discussion? I will second it. Any discussion? Lucy, did you have something you wanted to say?
10 years is a long time. 25,000 won't be worth what it is now in 10 years. So it might buy a lot of marketing right now, but will it in the future? And I don't know where the 25,000 comes from, because if you don't talk to Riverfest for input, or you did try to reach out to Aaron, I appreciate that you did, but the chain of command will go through Andrew first. And then no one talked, why not? I mean, why are you laughing?
I didn't think it was a VMI event. I thought that it was handled separately to have their own board. So is it or not?
VMI,
And I never, my motion was never anything for marketing.
oh, well, I just
It was
heard,
$25,000 a year if they can use at their discretion.
I just heard James say something about marketing.
He used it as an example, of what it would do to the
So I'm
Riverfest marketing budget.
So I'm using that as an example as well. Riverfest and Chautauqua are under the BMI umbrella. They have separate accounts. They also have volunteer committees that run their events. The people who supervise those events are under BMI's direction. Without talking to them, I don't know how you would know their needs. And also, they just approached last year, they've always been self-sustained, COVID hit. It would be great, yeah, to have $25,000 commitment, but
Lucy, I think one of the things is like our next round is in August and all these are prior to that.
oh,
And we're
See,
trying to, we're trying to be proactive, knowing that those are our three big boys
yeah.
and.
Well, for a 2023 commitment would be different than a 2033 commitment. I understand.
Sure,
And I
sure.
appreciate that very much. These events will be coming up and you guys, your next cycle will be,
In,
they won't
in
have that
August
in
and
their
they
budget.
won't, because I don't want them to come back in May and be like, hey, sorry, guys.
I understand.
Yeah.
Don't we
So-
have in provision in our approach to funding? The ability to fund as we see fit on special occasions? Do we not have that option?
I think we discussed it in year
I think
one.
the state statute talks about the money being used for tourism. Is what our responsibility as a board is.
Any limitations. We were trying to be a little more
These are our
disciplined.
own-
other than-
Yeah,
Yeah, I think,
I
I think
understand.
that's the issue.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would entertain.
Then we're back to where
let's-
we were before.
If we can get them to come to our next meeting,
Yeah.
tell us what,
Um,
how
Yeah.
things can help.
I think,
And in March, they will present their budgets to VMI's board of directors. So that is perfect timing to have them approach.
I
With
support,
their needs and have it be marketing.
I
Curtis,
support
are
the
you-
idea.
appropriate?
I'd just like to take a little bit, figure out what this means to them and how they would use it.
So are we 30 days premature for those three?
Well, I think it's good to bring it up, start the
Yeah.
discussion, and then, have them come and.
Well, it's Curtis's idea and I thought it was a great idea and he just told me tonight's not the night to discuss it and I told him it was.
So you set them up and then.
So Curtis was right, I was wrong.
Doesn't happen much, does it?
So if anyone gets egg on their face, it's me. I'm cool with
But we
that. So,
but we all have discussed that.
yeah,
That those
Yeah.
are the three that probably wouldn't have
no, it-
done the grant thing, but we always expect
right.
to hear
Yeah,
from.
I want
Yeah,
to
so
fund
we,
them.
Yeah.
yeah,
I want
so.
them to get in here and let's figure it out.
Okay, so a couple things, and we're still in discussion, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm learning this, so I did second. If we went ahead and had discussion, and then,
You could amend it.
okay,
Can we just table it for next one? No.
Once you make a second.
where's
Well,
Robert,
once
where's
you make
Robert,
it-
his damn orders?
You need to make a vote.
So,
You could amend it.
so would you want to amend it, or you just want to let it die and let's start over?
Die and do it again, do it next
Okay.
meeting.
Based off of,
Well, you can,
based off of the three.
you can call for a vote, right?
Is that your meeting?
You are the, hey, Mr. President, you are the,
I'm just trying, guys.
You're doing great, actually.
You are.
I don't know that I could ever
I
make
do have a
motions, but I
question,
actually.
Curtis, when you're proposing this, could they still come and ask for additional funding?
Sure.
Okay,
I mean, this would be outside of our grant application where we're asking that, I mean, that's open to anybody. I mean, we've talked that literally is open if VMI wanted, to. I mean, they did apply, so. I mean, it
So
could
you're
be-
thinking we could give them this and then if they had something special additionally.
We
they
got
could-
3 and 4, how we gonna go?
Do what?
We got 3 and 4, cause she just come.
So let it die and move on?
Well, it's good, I mean, usually when you get the second, you gotta call for a vote.
Okay,
You let it die when you don't, no one seconded it.
all in favor for what Curtis made his motion on, and I second, all in favor? All opposed?
Vote against my own motion.
I know.
You even said, I don't wanna do it. Okay, but,
You can make a new motion.
well, pertaining to the discussion, I, first of all, I love what Curtis is initiating.
I do too.
Mhm.
And I think we all can agree on that. I would like to have further discussion. I do understand what Lucy's saying, and I want to have that discussion later on. I think that there's some merit there on timing. But I really appreciate you initiating
No, I
that.
think
Thank
we
you.
just, like I said, make sure they
Yeah,
invite them to come,
So-
hopefully they can make it next month. I
so
mean,
who's gonna champion that? Should I reach out to all three entities?
Why not?
No, I'm just saying, well,
Two of them are here. They're VMI events,
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. Can you make sure that they're here and they, what,
yeah,
give a proposal?
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll coordinate on that with you
Okay.
on.
and then Regatta, you're connected with Regatta?
It's Jake McCormick and Kyle Pipes are the,
Can you text them and tell them to, sounds good. Okay,
probably get with you, yep.
Mr. Treasurer, can you tell us how much money we spent and how much we've got left?
Well, so, with the others, do we count the others that we've already handed out last month?
so what you and I talked about, Dave, was we agreed on 200. We've
So
spent,
that's what we put in the
So you
budget.
approved $90,000 in
Yeah.
claims, or $91,000 in claims tonight of VMI and
Yes.
marketing expenses,
yes,
is what we
Sure, but
approved tonight.
Right, but those are outside of the
Sure, I'm
Those
just,
community out. The
Just
community
as
outreach.
cash flow thing, you had $922,000 and you approved
Well,
92,000.
we get that.
On top of your $160,000 worth of grants.
Sure. So I was just looking at the community outreach line item, which we had the 200,000 in. And we gave away we provided, maybe a better way to put it, 132,000 for the other projects that we did last month. This is the wayfinding, the comfort station, the hotel setting, the Wild West Radio and the Hanover horsepower. Tonight with everything, $165,150. And so take all of that away from 200,000 and we're like 133,350 in the hole.
But you have we have 279 in community outreach.
I know, I think the council flipped that because the 279 would have been.
VMI number?
Would have been the VMI contract number, so we need to get those.
And the 132 was out, wasn't the first grants, weren't they part of last year? I mean, we're paying them out of this year's, but wasn't the wayfindings and the comfort station, that stuff? I thought we were factoring that into,
Well, it wasn't
Wasn't it
considered in the first
22?
grant cycle. Right?
Do what?
We didn't.
No, we did
Put
not.
that in that.
No.
No,
The first
But I mean,
grant
the
cycle was
checks
before that.
Came out this year.
sure,
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Trying, so, but again, it takes a trip to the county council, say, hey, but you know, that's how much so we probably don't need one write checks tonight. Since driving that fund,
You won't be writing them anyway, because Kristen does, so.
I know, but we can get to those. But then the question is, so how much
right.
do you wanna add to it
So we're upside down, would you say 133,
without the,
75?
right, so we need to think about that.
So it's 210. And then we've
But
got the ones
other
coming up
cycle.
in August.
In fact, it's 201,350 tonight, assuming we approve all these.
So the 36,000, you're right.
Right. Plus 75.
What I'm really interested in is how much more fun can we have?
Not with a D, without the D.
Yeah, look at that guy.
Well, I mean, So roughly after you pay all the grants and those claims is around $650,000 is what you're gonna have left
That's what I'm getting at.
with, I mean, revenue continuing to come in every month,
Yes,
but you're,
so we need to get busy.
so.
So if the funds, so say we utilize all the funds in this first round, do we have to have a second round?
But we
I
have
feel like it's a valid question. I mean, if you have enough ask in the
No.
first
I mean,
round,
you're the I mean, we are the
I think the biggest thing
facilitator of the
was
cycle.
because of new things come up.
no, I agree, but I'm
Yeah,
just
the
saying, I mean,
different
if we,
seasons
are we
and-
gonna stick to a budget or are we just gonna
Yeah.
raise it
Well-
every time?
I don't think you raise every time, but I think if we'll have some goals that we need to accomplish over the next
Well,
couple of
I
years.
mean,
keep in mind, we were, pretty tight the last couple of years on new opportunities and new projects and,
well, we,
Well,
you
nothing
know,
was going
investments that we weren't allowed to have that we, you know, moved into our account. So I mean, that we did all of that so we could get ourselves in a position to really make a splash into,
Yes.
you know, new investments.
and
So-
so, you know, I mean, so he has to, so last year, he put a number in August. For community
I think it
outreach,
might have even been before that.
you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that was the level. This year, we'll have a
And it was-
much better idea on what that should be as a budget.
And we had guessed that it was $100,000 previous year and we doubled it and we're still talking about using more because we've had additional revenue.
Sure, and it's, you know,
It's a good problem to have.
It is. How long does it take you to
Plus,
get
there's
the
also the opportunity for
Get the-
regular marketing.
the county council? Is it you?
well, I think he's gonna have to go, cause my good fortune with the county council is not.
So he and I are gonna go and I'm gonna be
Ron just
his
got-
puppet. Whatever he tells me is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, but I'm just curious how long it takes,
well, I mean, we
because
could,
I wanna get these people funded.
sure,
Getting the groups that we've approved tonight isn't a problem getting them funded. It's the next cycle that's gonna be the
it's a little bit,
close.
sure.
So we need
Okay.
to
Right.
go to the council to change
Is
that
that a
line
monthly
item.
thing?
Sure.
And it's not really in question.
Should,
It was shared with me because we have a cash flow versus some of the other departments wait on a tax draw, so to speak.
Sure.
Our money we already have that money there.
Yeah.
So essentially, we're taking it from our miscellaneous and moving it into the category we want to use it in.
Yes.
So it's
It's our
a
money,
little different than some of the other departments,
But
but we're
it is-
following the same procedure.
but it is our money.
Yes,
It's not the county's money.
No.
well,
I shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah.
it's the county's money, yes, that we are responsible for managing
Yeah,
and investing
yes. Okay, good.
under their procedures, which is why we go and we submit a change request that we want to move funds from one to the other. I mean, we did it last year, 2 or 3 different occasions.
We were meeting with Andrew and working on how to increase the bed tax, and I think we need to really invest in the county and get this more money working and prove to the state legislatures that we need more. We have the best tourism venue in the state,
Mhm.
and I don't want anybody to try to argue with me about that. And
We're
we
gonna
are,
get in here.
Well, we just invested in making it better tonight.
yes, we are
So-
underperforming compared to other counties that have practically maybe half what we have. We ought to get jiggy with it, and this board can help.
Ron said jiggy.
We did.
He'll show you.
So we need to figure out, when you go to the county council, how much of an increase you're asking for.
I think we need to, hang on, what was that?
How much of an increase you're asking.
We need to answer that tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
When are you going to the March meeting? Is that what you're doing?
March 13th.
March 13th. Does that interfere with March Madness basketball?
Yeah.
When is it?
It's on a Tuesday.
Okay, well, I think
March what?
we got probably.
Yeah, it starts that weekend.
Yeah,
That'll be the playing games.
all right. We'll get into that.
Sure, I will be in West Lafayette, sorry. let's go. I will get someone to.
So do we need to,
No.
motion for how much to be moved, or is that?
We need to make it, do we need to make a combined motion, David? Like,
We just need to know how much you wanna put a dollar number, 200,000, 250,000, whatever that number
and,
is.
and just because we get it, doesn't mean. we get it.
$300,000.
Well, if we're gonna have anything for a second round, which I think there are gonna be good things that are gonna come up.
Then I would move that we reallocate $300,000 into community outreach
Second,
account.
second.
Any discussion?
So then what does that give us for next round?
Well, that's for the next one.
No.
That's to cover this plus a surplus for next round.
Sure.
So that's what, like roughly 150?
Well, you were 132 and 160 right
Well, I
now,
mean.
so 300, that gives you $200,000 roughly for the next go round, right?
And is this group that these three that you're talking about, does that come out of this one or?
That comes out of this
We
one.
might wanna go,
Yeah, more.
I mean, if you're wanting to make a long-term commitment, I would talk to the auditor's office about making those a separate line item. A separate fund number.
sure, so for next year, when we do the budget, we'll set it
You
up.
have one for each one of those that shows your budget.
So
We don't need that to do that this year.
No,
Mm-mm,
so we probably would want.
not at that meeting. I don't think, no.
Yeah, that, when we submit it in August.
Yeah, you
This week.
tag your
Yeah,
in.
you just.
So $300,000 should take care of the deficit plus.
So if we think, so with what we gave in January and what we gave,
132.
132.
165.
Mhm.
Plus the 36.2, we're looking at 333,350, I believe.
Okay.
Are you adding the 75,000?
I did not add
No,
the
that's
75,000.
So you're 400, 410.
Making it even five.
And so, but if you take,
That's, yeah, 408.
so we take the 200 from that.
So we're down at 208, 200.
Is that good, do you think? If we're gonna take 75, well,
That's included.
including that,
So now,
okay, okay.
Yeah, so the
We got a number?
300,000 should be, right, is that what you?
What is the
motioned?
300,000 was
Yeah.
for us.
that gives us 200 for,
That's still the number?
yeah, and that includes the 75 now.
I think that's where we, I think that's where we should start, and
I agree.
again, we can be,
Sure, we can go back.
we can go back
Okay,
because we have other opportunities we want to invest in.
okay,
So,
Okay. First and second, you're in call for the vote.
yep, all, yep, 300,000 per second. Any discussion? No discussion?
We
I
had
think we had
that.
that.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
No discussion. What was that?
Audience call?
Audience call? Question? Yes.
Yeah, I have a question on behalf of Historic Madison and the other grantees here. Since this is a new process, can you explain the process whereby we claim the grant monies and when that's done and how that's done? And are you writing checks here tonight to hand us out, or how does this work?
That's what we need.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna learn.
I would suggest that they submit an invoice to you to put with the claim, and then we turn those claims in, and the auditor's office would cut your check and go that route. We don't have a checkbook anymore,
Okay,
so that we use the claim process that the county's using would be my suggestion.
so I submit an invoice to whom? Ron, okay, I mean Dave, okay. So I'll email you an invoice on our letterhead tomorrow. And 30 days, 45 days, 60.
So it follows the commissioner's schedule. The commissioners approve our claims. So you won't make the first meeting in March. Will it make the second meeting?
We'll see, I mean, it's gonna be close,
Okay.
so, but we meet on the Thursday.
They typically meet Thursday and then the checks are ready the next that Friday, right after. So sometimes it's 10 days payment terms.
Okay,
It could be 30, but typically it's the very next day is when checks are already cut.
okay. And then.
So you're saying
You
get it
mail
done.
the checks out in the, how does this, where I don't.
So if you've got your address on the form, they'll mail it to, unless you want it differently, then just let me know in your,
Okay.
so.
You can pick it up in the auditor's office.
Sure,
that
you would
next
rather
day.
do that.
Okay.
They could
Okay,
do
so
that.
David, we send it to Commissioner Brand, okay.
Okay,
Good question.
wonderful.
I
Thank
learned
you.
something.
Well, I've been through a lot of grant cycles and it's always good to know how to claim the money that you get.
Great.
If I have to spend it or start spending it by June and then tell you about it, I got
Detail.
Details.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the award, appreciate it.
Yes, Kim.
I have another question. Don't kill me, okay, person, don't kill me. So here's the question, if there is a project that comes up without a lot of time, we just heard about Regatta and Chautauqua, then how do we approach that? Do we have to wait to the grant cycle because this project's gonna be done? We are hosting, and here's the project, okay? We are hosting a pretty cool thing coming up at the end of March. It's a traveling exhibit. You read about it in our grant program. We did not ask for funding. We have raised over $32,000 from rolling up our sleeves and asking the community for this traveling exhibit. It is an winning traveling exhibit. It was just last in Greenville, South Carolina. It's coming to Madison. VMI has done all the marketing for us. It is gonna be exquisite. They are, okay, there you go. Sarah has visuals. This will be here from March 24th to October, the end of October. 9 stainless steel birds in Bicentennial Park. It's an open exhibit for the community. We are $6,700 short, not short. That's not a good way of saying it.
Yes.
We have met our goal, except this one little
There you go.
part. And we're so thankful, but I mean, this is a great tourism thing. It's not the same as sponsoring our organization. It's sponsoring an event. I don't know, my question is, what would be the process for requesting things like this nature?
It's just come up.
So it runs March to October
Yes, sir.
and all of the funds have to be paid in March? Or when do you have to pay all of it?
Well, it's an exhibit that's being erected, so actually, this is a project, Bill Rogers is the visiting artist. And he's doing a arts residency program with the school.
Mhm.
So it's a partnership between the city and the schools, and we're organizing things. So I would assume that we will pay him for this exhibit.
I'm just asking that because if it
I
runs
think
that
so.
time period, I didn't know if you had to pay,
Well,
you know, a
it's in-
third, or how that worked, because I mean, would give us a chance.
I would think.
I asked about that project when you did your presentation, because I wasn't sure if you
I
were
know.
asking, and you said you guys were soliciting private funds at that time.
We've raised a lot of funds, but it just seems like a kind of a cool project that Board of Tourism would support. But yeah, we could come back at another time and do it. I don't know. I just wanted to know the process. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to throw something on the,
See that,
but it's a
so-
good learning experience for us, you know, what do we do?
so here, yeah, so we've had that discussion, Kim, that's where you gotta draw the line at some point, and that sucks to say out loud, because you are right on all of it. I just wish it was presented earlier.
No, that's.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, it's like, that's why Dave initiated it last year with, we've gotta tighten up our reins and say, here's when it is, here's when it is. Anybody in between, we can, you know, tonight we started to budge a little bit, but, you know, I think getting our investments and getting those people that we've funded to come back and give us data and give us, you know, information to see if we funded the right things, and then look at it again in August. Now, and we talked about that because we'll just get a bunch of, requests all the time.
I
And
think
we've gotta tighten it
opportunities
up.
come up, You know, and that, I think that's, and it's funny because I wasn't gonna say anything. I just think it's important that maybe y'all kind of, as a board, realize that these things happen. We're in a moving world and things will come to Madison because we're so terrific at this, and you won't have time to plan for it, And I think this is a really good example. And we started flight a while back. It's
Yeah,
not like
this
it
is
just
not a
happened
new-
last year or last week.
Yeah.
And we're well equipped for it. I'm just giving y'all an opportunity. If you think it's something you would like to do, then great. If not, we'll find some.
I just wish when it started, we were approached about it so we could support it and it not become a Hail Mary at this point of, hey, look, I mean, it's a project, obviously, we all want to support. It's like Trevor said, trying to draw the line. I mean, several months in a row, it's this group came, this group came, this group came. So,
Yeah.
and then our meeting is tied up with that instead of hearing about
Well,
the
I
other
was
stuff
wanting
that's
to do
going
it.
on.
I was wanting to do,
Um,
I was wanting to Asheville when we were at the courthouse that night, and it got a little too tough for me to, I'm not always so out there, but, I wanted to say it that night, but didn't.
The frustrating part for me with
It's okay.
any government is everything moves slow in the government side. So when these things come up,
Yeah.
that sure, it'd be nice for us to be able to have a quick phone call. Hey, can we do this? Yep, and we go, but unfortunately, we can't do that.
Well, they're setting up on the
But-
23rd, so it is happening.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
It's okay.
it is happening.
Which,
Just tell them you didn't get the bill and come back in August to apply and,
well, it'll be here till October, so maybe we do that.
I would.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
But
you very
and
much.
I would on the front end, moving forward, if you start on something like that, I would think approach us as early as you can.
I appreciate that.
Cause it is awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
well-
It's crazy good.
Yeah.
What it would take was just that little bit to push us into, fully paid, because we've raised through the community, the majority of that. Like.
We-
Does the city support it too financially?
I was gonna ask that too.
Okay, so yes.
Parks
we-
Department, right?
No, the city of Madison is giving quite a bit of in-kind. We've been with the street department. And they're actually pouring all the footers in next week.
Ultra complicated.
They're really doing a lot. VMI has done tons of in-kind. So when you look at what VMI's done, what the city's done, and then we were kicked off with the community foundation, got a large amount, and then individual sponsors from all across the community. It's really a beautiful thing. But yes, the city has in-kind, but also product. They're buying concrete. We're having to pour these big things. It's crazy.
So I want to apologize on the agenda. I did not add VMI reporting and marketing, and I want to apologize for that. But we would like to hear from you all as well.
Well, I will make my report short. Thank you. Just wanted to note that we got our occupancy report for January, looked really good. We were up versus a number of our surrounding counties that we compare ourselves with. We're down. Some of them were down 19% as far as occupancy. We were up 7%. So it's impressive. It's really, really good. And just wanted to report that good news.
Andrew, sorry, to interrupt. Did
Yeah.
you use the star data to get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you looking at the same numbers as me?
I just
We
get
haven't
my
did that
property.
report.
Oh,
I
that's
don't get.
Okay.
Get the competition.
No, we didn't end up with an issue where
No.
we weren't
No,
looking at the right numbers. So
I was just
yeah,
curious.
it
about
was,
where it came from.
it was a good month, for January. So, and then we're gonna head to American Queen, for this summer, and they'll be here 8 times. And so we're finalizing our route for that and finalizing some of the, exciting things that we want to do to help welcome them to the community. So I'll keep my report short and sweet. Obviously, you guys know you can reach out, give me a call, whenever you want. But I want to thank you for your continued investment in tourism in Madison and Jefferson County. Tonight is an unprecedented investment in tourism as far as, in this kind of chunk granting out. And so I look forward to being a part of that discussion as you continue on over the months and years ahead.
I just want to add to your hotel thing. There was a youth basketball tournament this weekend in Hanover, and it fed into Madison at Shaw a little bit too. There were 41 teams, and from various areas. Only 7 of those teams were local teams. I do know that there were teams from Alexandria and Eastern Hancock that stayed. I don't know if they were, I know several were at the Comfort Inn in Hanover, but several Paoli teams that had stayed. So I'm curious to see what February looks like, because it's typically a lesser month as well. So,
That's
but
great.
there was a basketball tournament this weekend.
Did you say Hanover, did Hanover host that?
It was hosted at Southwestern,
Okay. I want to get. with
but on
them.
Saturday they used Shaw's gyms because of sectional practice at Southwestern High School.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to get with them. So in the future, we can put
It's
together
good to
some
log that
packets
stuff.
and, yeah, we want to keep track of all those groups.
That's the second one they've had this year. Well, they had one in November.
Okay.
Sorry, first one this year, but
Good.
I just want to compliment everyone in this room. I had a college friend call me this week. She lives in St. Louis, Missouri. And she said, I have to tell you, I was scrolling social media and up popped the best places to go within a day's drive of St. Louis. And she said, I clicked on it and #1 was Madison, Indiana. So can we call something? And that is because of the people, you know, you supporting the people in this room and what you guys are doing for our community. So I just want to say kudos to everyone who's here.
Thank you.
And I apologize, I just realized I never seen it.
I thought you intentionally left it off. I thought that maybe with the
Well,
projects
that
that
is
we
weird
were
that you-
delaying it a month. I thought it was.
What was it?
No, right? No.
well, I didn't intentionally do it, but I was just thinking of partnerships and projects. Like, that's all I was thinking of. That's,
Trevor, take the win.
yeah.
Take the win.
No,
It works, we follow.
It worked.
Sorry about that, really.
Yeah,
I was
thank you.
in a hurry that day. So really just good news, since I think you asked, a lot of hours went into finishing the design of the 40+ page booklet. Or no, the 40-page booklet, not plus. And just a lot goes into that, if you can imagine. That will be here hopefully Wednesday. So we're gonna be bustling this week to get all the new guides out to the businesses and the hotels. It is online. You can, go online, right? It's been up live, for a couple weeks now, and see that. We're part of the small town brochure leads, as we are every year. We visit Indiana, and we got, 6,100, addresses and emails in one bunch, and then they just keep coming. So the girls are working to get that stuff out in bulk mailings. The event calendar.
Sarah, how many, if you just said it, I'm sorry.
No.
How many women are coming?
I don't know how many women are coming.
Okay,
This
okay.
weekend. I don't have that data.
6,100.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh my.
That's a lead generation program. That's.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. The girls at work are working on getting this stuff ready to send out. Sorry.
I missed the sentence in between that. Yeah.
Boys weekend too, right?
Yeah. So,
Just
Boys
not
weekend.
here.
Yeah.
as I've mentioned the past couple of meetings, we ran out of visitor guides, so we went with the 55. That'll be here this week. The event tear pads and the magnets will be here as well. Those are in production, so we'll be able to get it out to everybody. Hopefully everybody will be good by, the beginning of next week. We will be filming with WHAS, Hometown Proud this Friday and Monday. We have a huge, taping schedule. And we'll be with Claudia Coffee on Friday around town. She will be.
Raining on Friday, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Is it raining on Friday?
It is raining on
This
Friday.
Friday?
So I just got done, I got off the phone with Claudia Coffee before I walked in here, and she said, I'm emailing the weather guy as soon as I leave here, and I'm gonna find out tomorrow exactly what it is. And I said,
They don't.
oh,
Yeah.
it's like only 5% right? I mean, I don't know. So anyway, yes, we're hoping for better weather. So we have, again, tapings, Hanover is gonna be taped first on Friday. We're gonna have President Lambert, and they'll have a segment, we'll have the chamber, and then, we're using a lot of tourism partners in the rest of the segments, and then that'll be on Monday as well. So that's just been a big deal, trying to figure that out and get on the phone and call every person that we want you know, are you okay and comfortable with being interviewed, and like just kind of prepping those people and questions, and it's just a lot goes into it, but we're really excited about the piece and the teasing that'll go on throughout March, and then the big 1 hour showcase that'll happen either the 30th or 31st of March, and then of course, we'll shoot that out to you guys. So really excited about that. Thank you for getting everything processed today. Had an executive business review with Crowd Rep, and I'll let this be the last thing, but with that, we go over, you know, features and what are the things that they're implementing, and they're constantly you know, very forward thinking about everything they do. But anyway, our engagement rate is the highest, I think, we're the client with the highest engagement in the whole entire company. But we have 49% engagement, and on average, a client has 25%. And so all of the different galleries that we use, and then making them custom and intertwine them with everything that we do is just, you know, it's just an astounding number to report to you guys. I just wanted you guys to know that.
Thank you.
So, and I will go back to my office tomorrow and forward you guys the real report. I apologize for that. It's been done since last Thursday morning, or no, Wednesday afternoon. I'm so sorry.
She was done before me. so.
I know, it was this time. I was like,
Our next meeting is March 27th.
There was a wrestling event this weekend too, I forgot, at the junior high and high school.
Oh, yeah.
The Shawn wrestling event that's going on this weekend. Youth
so is all
wrestling.
that stuff on that new website that you guys?
Not yet. Not
I didn't
yet.
know if that was a resource that.
Hopefully,
we could get to.
it will. We find out who's going to manage that stuff.
Okay.
Hundred and 76 wrestlers, was the number they had.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Any opposed?
Okay, I did
It's
that.
too much fun.
Didn't even ask. You just-
I've been missing out all that time.
I'm not sure who needs